My name is Nicole Crowder. I am a speech teacher here at Campbell Middle School. This is Miss Regina Wilson. She teaches English here at Campbell Middle School. And this is Mr. Brent Watson here at Campbell Middle School. He teaches history here at Campbell Middle School. Okay, guys, so I just, regarding our campus vision, what is our campus vision? What is it?
Our vision is to produce graduates.
Yeah, is that basically it, Mr. Watson?
Pretty much. And pretty much to prepare our kids for the secondary level, not even just the secondary level, but for college readiness as well.
Right, I agree. I think that's something that our principal is really big on, just producing those graduates. So how do you guys think the campus acknowledges and recognizes and celebrate those who implement the strategies on this campus?
I think that our administrative team does a good job at acknowledging everyone by, having different celebrations. So we celebrate success by, giving a hand clap, or I know we used to do 1, 2, 3, we are Campbell, whoosh, So I think they do a good job of making people feel valued. We always say that every individual matters, every individual has a role to play, and every individual can make a difference. So if you show that through the things that they're implementing on our campus, I think it makes people, want to strive for better.
Okay.
And I would also like to add that some departments, they're able to be recognized once a month in our campus, in our staff meetings. And also they recognize spotlight teachers who are implementing strategies and instruction that is producing scholars out of our students. And also during our staff meetings, we have about 5 minutes of fame for those teachers or who want to give a shout out to their team who are instructionally being successful in their classroom.
And do you guys think that, we do a good job getting the community involved as well? Yeah, because with our iFest celebration, I think we did a really good job bringing everyone from the feeder schools from the elementary, bringing them over to help celebrate, to bring all those cultures together and celebrate all those cultures. Would you guys agree that that fits in with the vision?
I agree. I believe it's a good thing to get your stakeholders in your community involved. We know the kids that we serve, every school is different. And I think that for the school that we're at, the clientele that we're serving, I think that we do a real good job at trying to meet every child's need. And not just really meet every child's need, but really meet every child where they're at. I think that's important because understand that we're not all on the same level.
Right. Okay, how does the campus use innovative thinking or risk-taking or failures as a learning experience to promote the campus vision? What do you guys see, some things that are going on around here? I would say, I think to use learning as an experience to promote the campus, I think a celebration of success would be a good way to promote the vision. A lot of kids get really excited about that because, well, for one, they get to eat. They love breakfast, everyone loves to eat, and I think that the kids are really excited because they get to miss first period, they get to have breakfast, their parents come, and they get to, get those awards for being on honor roll. So that's one way that we promote scholars. But what do you guys think about the risk-taking part of promoting our scholars? How do we try to get those failures and those involved in our mission statement, in our vision?
Well, I just think it's just acknowledging little things. Like the 1,000 Guys in Ties program, of course, that we did this year, we've done for the last couple of years. A lot of our kids don't really dress up. And so I think by us making that a campus-wide initiative, hey, this is the one day out the week that you're going to dress up, it kind of gives the kids a different perspective. Because the kids don't understand that when you dress up, people perceive you differently. And so their view, of course, changes, and it makes them feel good. I know when I'm dressed up, I know I'm fly, I feel fly. I mean, I'm just saying, I feel fly and I feel good about myself.
So
because
more
confidence,
right.
And then people look at you different. So, for example, you go to a car lot and I go to the car lot and I'm dressed any kind of way and my pants all ripped up. Of course, I'm not going to get the same type of attention is if I'm dressed up and I have a shirt on, a nice shirt that's pressed, and a nice slacks on with nice shoes. People perceive me differently. So I think that's a good program that we're doing to help our young men as well as our young ladies, help them dress and use proper etiquette.
Did we have something like that here?
Yes, we had the girls, 1,000 girls with pearls, and I think that helps the students as well in the classroom because they carry themselves a different way. So they are able to do their work in the classroom. They're able to focus because they feel different. And so I think that has helped as well with their academics.
Okay. What is, are used in improving morale, which moves the campus toward the realization of the campus vision? What do you guys think?
I think really just making people feel like they are appreciated. And I think I'm reiterating what I said earlier, but I think Williams does a really, really good job at this as far as with the 8th grade team, him and Miss Barnett, as far as having those potlucks, bringing people together, because we all like to eat, we all like to socialize, and so if people feel like, hey, you're going out your way to do this for me, or you're making an extra effort to say, hey, you know what, I know it was a rough week, but hey, still, good job. Appreciate what you're doing for our kids. Thank you for staying late after school. Hey, you didn't have to do that, but hey, I'm glad you did. So people really don't care about necessarily the monetary things. It's more about the verbal. Because I know for me, I have to hear it. I have to hear you say, I'm appreciated, or otherwise I feel like, okay, I'm here for what reason? What's my purpose?
Yeah.
And I think as the year progresses and we start to have to endure different obstacles, I believe it becomes a stressful environment for us, especially with the STAR test sometimes, because our focus is mostly on that. So our focus may veer off from where we're really trying to go. And so those words of encouragement can just put you back on that right path to knowing what your purpose is and why you're here.
I agree with that too, because I'm like you, like I need to hear that I'm doing a good job. Tell me I'm doing good, because all the stuff that we do around here for the kids, look out for them, make sure they have what they need, school supplies, belts, sometimes even clothes, or food for some of these kids.
And I would even add, we need to hear it as teachers, but also that carries over in letting the kids hear it as well, which helps the morale of the school, helps the morale of their academics, and just getting more involvement and participation and get everybody on board with what we're doing, because if they hear, okay, I'm doing a good job, they'll keep it up. And so I think that goes the same for us as well.
Right. And so, one of you mind repeating our mission statement, just so we can, what is it again? I have a hard time remembering it.
Campbell Gators are scholars. Our mission is to produce graduates.
It's a great day to be a Campbell Gator.
So that's what we hear like every day, right? But do you guys think that the kids are really? Let's be honest. Do you think they're really feeling that? How about you in your class? You teach 8th grade, you teach 7th grade, correct? So in 8th grade, do you really think that they're feeling this mission?
I don't think, to be honest with you, I really don't think the kids are feeling it at times, because it's like it's a repetitive thing. You hear something so many times, it's like, oh my God, I'm sick of hearing that. But I don't think they really understand it in order to believe that it's like something like, how we say sometimes you have to say something so many times and you believe it, then after you say it so many times and you start to walk it, then after you say it so many times you start to talk it, and then after a long period of time you start to become that. And I think it's really about taking ownership of that, and I think that's what Dr. Henry does a good job at saying that. And I know, it's funny when she says it so many times, we'll say thank you at the end, like we'll start laughing about it, but it has made us as adults take ownership, and I think that's what we're trying to do for our kids, make them take ownership so that they can become better citizens. I'm not going to say scholars, better citizens, because eventually when they leave us, they're going to go out to that world, and that world is not going to have the same mercy on them as we do here.
Right. And what about 7th grade? How do you think that they're perceiving this?
I think 7th graders are still learning the mission, because it's already repetitive for them, but I think they're still learning because they're right in the middle of, okay, do I want to do good? Do I want to do bad? So I think they're still learning, okay, what does it really mean for me to be a scholar first? And then what does it mean they want me to be a graduate of what? Middle school, of high school, of college? So I think they're still in the learning stage of what it means. But I think some of them have gotten a grip on what it means and carrying it out, but I think some of them are still learning.
I teach all of them, 6, 7, and 8, and I think the 8th graders, they really don't too much say. They're not really feeling it, like you said, as much. Some of them, they're already there, they're already those natural scholars, but then some of them, they're just like, they don't understand what it means to be a scholar. 7th grade, I totally agree with what you said. Some of them, they just don't get it yet, And 6th grade, I think they're the most who are influenced 6th grade, because sometimes I'll hear them even say, you're not being a scholar, or I want to be a scholar, I'm a scholar, like they'll say stuff like that. And it's cute, you know, and it makes me laugh, it makes me proud. And my whole thing is, I hope you keep that scholarly behavior through the years. I hope that doesn't change. So we just want to make sure we try to, you know.
I believe it changes, but I believe, like I said, because we're really, we're grasping their attention and we're getting them early, I think that makes the difference.
Yes.
It makes a difference.
Yes.
So, definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Do you guys have anything else, you know, you would like to add about our vision, or, you know, here, your work here at Campbell Middle School?
I learned a lot
Mm-hmm.
through it. I mean, it's taught me a lot. Being at the fact that, you know, I do want to be in administration eventually, and even just working with people and being a teacher leader, you kind of understand that, you know, it's our job to really bring back everybody back to that main focus. Why are we here? And why are the kids here, and what's our purpose? And I think that's something that we you know, especially at this point in the year, we're starting to lose that. Like, we're just ready to go home. But I think we have to display it. It's like I always say, we always tell the kids, well, you need to do this, you need to do this, but your life is your message. You don't have to, everything speaks. You don't have to tell anybody who you are, what you are. You show them through your actions. And I think that's what we try to convey on a day-to-day basis. We fall short, but at the same time, you know, we have to get ourselves back up and keep on going.
Do you think as a school year ends, though, that affects our vision for teachers? Not just the kids, teachers, because like you said, many of them are ready to go. Do you think as teachers that kind of reflects our behavior as well?
I think it does, and you know, just to be honest, I think it does affect our behavior, because we can sometimes get lackadaisical in what we expect from the kids, because we know it's the end. We are feeling it, and they're feeling it, and so we can get lackadaisical on what we want from them, and so the vision may get compromised if we're not doing our part.
Right.
Let's get going.
And if they're not doing their part. So, yeah, I think it does affect it. But I will also add, I appreciate the fact that with everything that we have in our view and our focus and our purpose, we focus on growth. We know we need to get here, but we focus on moving here and here and here. Yes, so like every point counts, and we celebrate those points that we get to until we get to the big thing.
Right.
So I think that helps in our vision as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, we do fall short sometimes, and like you said, many of us are ready. But like you said, it starts with us, and you know, the kids. If the kids see us living out this vision, then we do the vision.
And I can kind of see, like, you know, I would, you know, explain that to my 8th graders this morning, that when I walk in the building, I'm Brent. Before I walk in the building, I'm in my car, I'm Brent. But when I get out of my car, I'm Mr. Watson. So I leave all my baggage in my car, and I put on my teacher role and walk in the building. And that's what I need a lot of my students to start doing, you know, even with our vision. You leave your personal issues on the bus. By the time you walk in the building, I need the scholar or the student to walk into the room ready to go, on time, prepared. You know, so it's just you can't set high expectations if you're not walking the walk and talking the talk. So if I'm gonna say, hey, this is what I expect of you, this is how I need to be living my life, and this is how I need to be conveying myself in that positive manner.
It's interesting that you say that, because you know how we have our Parent Involvement Day, and I think that is a good way for our vision to be incorporated into the community as well, because like a lot of the parents, they don't know what goes on at school. You know, I think they think they know, but they don't know. Oh, they just go to class. But they don't know what the teacher's teaching. They don't know who the students are in the classroom. So I think that day that they get to come to the classroom and watch and see what's happening in their child's classrooms, that probably makes a difference too, especially when they go home. They can discuss it with them and see who's in their class. Well, you shouldn't be sitting next to that person anymore, because that person distracted you way too much, and you need to get your lesson. But I think if the parents, they, you know, with our demographics, a lot of them, parents, they work so much, and they're too busy trying to provide for their families that a lot of them really don't have that scholar, you know.
Well, I always say it's a learned behavior. we know better, so we need to do better. And so, you know, I encourage my parents, you know, if you know that your son and daughter is coming home, say for instance, if I'm teaching math and my child doesn't know math and I'm confused and I want to help them, guess what? How about I come up to the school and as a teacher, I'm gonna open my door and say, hey, if you want to come up, I'm gonna give you the extra help too, because I want you to be able to help your child. It's all about accountability, and it starts at home. I came from the same setting as a lot of our students. My mom worked several jobs, did all those things, but she held us accountable. And that's all I expect our parents to continue to do, is to hold these kids accountable so that they can go in the world and they can be prepared and they can be better people and better citizens and help the next generation. Because that's our job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because a lot of them, they don't know, you're right.
they don't know.
They don't.
You know, so we just, you know.
Is that something that you noticed too in language arts?
Oh, yes, most definitely, because I teach two subjects, reading and writing, and a lot of times, you know, communicating with parents, they need to know what's going on so that they can help them at home. A lot of them ask for extra work to help their child at home because we have 2 major tests coming up for STAR, but I think our communication with parents is consistent as well, and that helps our students. I think the communication is consistent. That helps us as teachers to help their student, help their child excel.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for, you know, coming in today and talking about this with me. And do you have any closing thoughts about anything before we, you know, wrap up our time together?
I think at the end of the day, like Mr. Watson said, you know, it all goes back to knowing your purpose and what you're here for. Because if you keep that in view from the beginning to the end, you should be okay.
Begin with the end in mind. And that's,
Yes.
I think that sums it up for me.
Yes.
Yeah, begin with the end in mind. Know your purpose, and that's what I tell my students. Okay, this is where you want to go. Begin with the end in mind. Just because you're not a doctor yet doesn't mean I don't need to start walking the walk and start having that thought process as a doctor.
You know, every time you talk, I want to ask you more questions.
Yeah, I know. But I want you to though. No, I'm just. I guess I'm so passionate about the profession.
And you can tell, you really can.
And I just really want the kids to just be better people, because my mom quickly invested in me. You know, my family really invested that energy into me. And I know some of these kids, they have the ability, but they just need that push.
Yes.
And I don't think that push is really being exerted sometimes.
Yeah.
But I believe with the right person that's influencing them, not just at school but at home, because we can build a child up, but by the time they leave us, all that will be built up can go right back down. So I just think it's just about being consistent across the board, saying what you say, whatever you say, mean it, and follow through with it. If you say it, if you don't implement it, you've lost your kids already.
Yeah, because I wonder sometimes, and like you said, we could do that push here, but sometimes my concern is high school.
Yeah.
Because
it's no
if they don't have
motivation.
teachers like this in high school, explaining that scholarly behavior, reminding them constantly of their vision, what's going to happen.
Yeah, you
And
just have to be
that's
consistent.
my concern.
And a lot of kids don't really get it, but I know they say I preach all the time to them, and I know I'm preaching, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna take an offering, but you know, we laugh about it, but I think that at the end of the day, though, they need that person that's constantly in their ear. They need that person that's saying, hey, this is where you messed up. This is what you need to fix. Now this is how you fix it. I'm gonna need you to get it together. If it's not enough of that going on, I don't think it's enough people being truthful anymore with our kids. I think we're just doing enough to patch it up. You know, so they know what they need to do. My focus is when they get to high school, how are they going to be able to accept all that? Because it's a lot going on. You're more accountable. Nobody's going to say, hey, Crowder, you need to do this, 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 and this. No, you're on your own. Crowder, you need to take care of this, and if this doesn't get done, this is the consequence of it. You know? So.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that they remember our vision here at the school, you know, the scholarly attitudes and efforts, and maybe that will help them to be more supportive. I hope their parents can be more supportive as they go to high school and help them to, you know, again, be more scholarly so that they can graduate and get, you know, the education and whatnot. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Ms. Wilson, for your feedback on our vision statement, and I appreciate you, Mr. Watson,
Appreciate you.
for our feedback on our vision statement, and thank you for your time.